Giant. This trait describes Nepenthes selected or naturally known for producing exceptionally large pictures. Famous examples include Nepenthes raja, Nepenthes truncata, Nepenthes northiana, Mariliana, Mapuluensis. Giant forms of Nepenthes rafflesiana and hybrids made from these plants. A giant picture is not defined only by height, but also its width, volume, leaf size, and how large the picture looks beside the leaves. Breeders often combine these gigantism traits in hybrids, and one of the most striking recent results is Borneo exotics Nepenthes thiboyanensis cross Mariliana or Nepenthes titanic. In April of 2025, one of its pitches was measured at 47 centimeters from base to lid and could hold nearly 3 liters of water, earning the Guinness World Record for the largest cultivated carnivorous plant chop by volume. Anything is completely capable of eating a huge rat. The giant trait usually appears only after the plant matures, and the pitches can look ordinary for years before becoming a monster. This means that genetics might set the potential, but age and growing conditions affect whether that potential is fully developed. Toothy Peristome. Now let's talk about pitchers whose lip is surrounded by obvious tooth-like projections. The scientific term for the visible structures is peristome teeth. They occur strongly in species such as Nepenthes hermata, Nepenthes edwardiana, Nepenthes villosa, Macrophylla, and Nepenthes diabolica. In Nepenthes hermata, the upper pitches are especially famous because the teeth can become long, separated, and sharply hooked, giving a picture a jaw-like appearance. In Nepenthes edwardiana and villosa, the peristome ribs can become thicker and more massive, creating a more strongly toothed appearance. These teeth are fixed parts of the peristome. They obviously do not move, so the picture only looks like it wants to bite you. Hybrids may inherit anything from mild ridges to a strongly toothy rim, and siblings from the same cross can look very different. For growers, this is one of the most desirable highland traits because it can remain visible even when the offspring no longer looks exactly like either parent. Fangs. This trait is most famously expressed by Nepenthes baccalaureata. Beneath its lid are two pointed structures that hang over the pitcher's entrance like animal fangs. These are not the same as the repeated teeth around the mouth of Nepenthes hermata. The structures on Nepenthes baccalaureatus are paired peristome thorns, and research has found unusually large nectar glands inside them. Insects attracted to that nectar may move directly above the pitcher opening, where losing their footing can send them into the trap. The fangs also gives the species one of the clearest and most recognizable pitcher shapes in the genus, but when Nepenthes baccalaureata is used in hybrids, the offspring may produce shorter points, small horns, or raised bumps beneath the lid, so the fang is just a recessive trait. Or is it? Squat. This trait describes pitchers that are unusually short and wide, making the pitchers look compact, heavy, and barrel-shaped. Some forms of Nepenthes truncata develop broad, blocky pitchers, while Nepenthes ambularia can produce low, rounded traps that cluster around the base of the plant. Nepenthes veitchii and many complex lowland hybrids can also become extremely squat, especially when a wide pitcher body is combined with a large peristome. One of the best-known examples in Nepenthes mirabilis var globosa. Its pitchers are often round or oval and much broader than ordinary Nepenthes mirabilis pitchers. Before the name var globosus was published, these plants circulated under names such as Viking, globosa, and Nepenthes fangae. The classic Viking look combines a rounded pitcher with strong coloration and often with large wings. Growers in Thailand also selected especially round forms under names such as Klom, which means round, but squat is broader than Viking alone. As you saw that this shade can also occur in Nepenthes veitchii, ambularia, some selected truncata, and other species. Breeders value the shape because it makes other features look stronger. A broad pitcher can make the wings appear huge, heavier, and more exaggerated. Rib peristome. This trait only occurs in Nepenthes mirabilis var Echinostoma. The name Echinostoma means sea urchin mouth, referring to this distinctive appearance. It looks like the pitcher lips has been replaced by a circular rack of raised blades, and I think you should call your wife. Its outer ribs are broad, flattened, and fixed in place, while the inner ribs stand free and may curve inward like small hooks. On fully developed or mature pitchers, these ribs can rise about 3 mm above the peristome, and they can sit roughly 2 mm apart, making the entire mouth look like a rebellious Unlike Nepenthes hamata, where the long projections are teeth formed at the inner ends of the ribs, in Nepenthes mirabilis via Echinostoma, the ribs themselves dominate the whole lip. The plant is also weirdly localized. Ordinary mirabilis has the widest distribution of any Nepenthes, stretching across much of Southeast Asia and into northern Australia, but Echinostoma forms is restricted to Brunei and parts of Sarawak. Tricolor. This is a horticultural color trait. It is most closely associated with selected Nepenthes ampullaria and hybrids carrying those lines. A strong tricolor picture has three clearly separated colors, such as green or yellow base, red patches or spotted pattern, and a differently colored lip. But it's not just simply counting three colors. Many Nepenthes change colors as a picture's age, and a green picture may slowly turn red or purple. That temporary change does not automatically make it tricolor. Growers use the name for plants selected because their contrasting color zones appear as a recognizable feature. When tricolor plant is crossed with Viking, Rafflesiana, or other lowland species, the offspring can have several traits at the same time: a rounded body, broad wings, spotting, and contrasting lip. Seed-grown siblings can still vary widely, so only some may show the full effect. This makes tricolor especially attractive in breeding because the most impressive seedlings look carefully color blocked, even though the pattern developed naturally. Wing tendril. This trait describes pitchers whose front wings become unusually broad, and the winging can continue beyond the pitcher, running up the lower tendril itself. This is interesting because in most Nepenthes, the wings are developed only to the front of the pitcher. The trait does exist in the wild, in Nepenthes rafflesiana violata. Other examples of wing tendril are lowland complex hybrid species. Thai growers have circulated a selected horticultural line as Nepenthes mirabilis or mirabilis wing. It refers to cultivated species chosen for exaggerated wing development, although the exact original breeder and founding population remain unclear. Growers have crossed Viking, mirabilis wing, Rafflesiana, and ampullaria to produce striking lowland hybrids with oversized ribbon-like wings and long fringe. These dramatic hybrids are the product of selective breeding. Based on the evidence available so far, this kind of extreme combined lowland wing expression does not appear to be documented as a natural wild phenotype. In other words, wild plants gave growers the raw genetics, but breeding pushed the trait much further. Even then, the wing tendril trait is not perfectly stable. One hybrid may produce huge wings, another may show only partial winging, and upper pitches may reduce the wings to narrower ribs. Wavy lip. The trait happens when the edge of the pitcher lip forms repeated waves, folds, or scallop curves instead of staying smooth. That is not the same as a lip that is simply wide or thick. A broad peristome can remain almost flat, while a narrower one may have strong waves around its edge. The most striking examples are again often seen in complex lowland hybrids, including plants with Viking, ampullaria, mirabilis, rafflesiana, or Veitchii ancestry. Again, growers in Thailand have selected Viking-related plants for unusual lip shapes, but the current evidence does not show that every wavy lip came from Viking or Nepenthes mirabilis via globosa. A separate source exists in selected Nepenthes veitchii, including the clone known as the Wave, which has been used in breeding for strongly undulating peristomes. It is therefore possible that similar-looking wavy lips have developed through more than one species. The famous independent Viking-based wavy lip species from Thailand is possibly originates from older complex lowland ancestry, but its founding parents remain unknown, and these extreme tendril wing wavy lip traits is also nearly impossible in the wild.